This is an ukulele tutorial for the sound of silence. I recently uploaded a new document to Google Docs. It is under the sound of silence. It is different from the previously uploaded sound of silence. I've revised some of the brackets. I've revised the bracketing system. Hopefully it'll be a little more user-friendly. So this tutorial is addressing that specific piece of music. So let's get right into it. This song has both picking and strumming. It is in 4/4, and there are two, so the picking pattern is 3-1-2-1, and there are two 3-1-2-1 sequences per measure. So let's look at that first, how that goes. So 3 is talking about the third string from the bottom. So if we number the strings 1, 2, 3, we are plucking 3, and then we are plucking 1, and then we are plucking 2, and then plucking 1 again. So I like to pluck it. If your thumb is agile, you can do the whole thing with your thumb. But I like to pluck 3 and 2 with my thumb. So basically I'm dun 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 dun. And then I put this in between with my index finger. And I just pull up on it. So it's dun, 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 and so it might be easier for those of you who aren't very fluid with your picking yet to just take it apart. Maybe just try the until you get used to moving your thumb back and forth like that. And then maybe even try the thumb to index, thumb to index, thumb to index, thumb to index, until you can do. Oops. So we'll start out very slowly. I think ideally you want to get it to about a pace of and you might notice I do kind of rest my other fingers on the ukulele. I don't know if you're allowed to do that, but that helps me kind of stabilize my picking. So I rest it here, and then I go with my 2 fingers. I suppose you could use your middle finger if you want. It's all up to you, but for me, these 2 work. Okay, so one measure is 2 rounds of the 3-1-2-1, right? So if we look at the intro, it's 1 measure of A minor. So that's followed by a strum. And then on my music, I have a no chord. I think for the first verse, that's optional. You can keep playing your picking if you want. The rest of the verses, I think, should have a no chord. But let's just continue with hello, darkness, my old. Okay, then we have a G in a bracket, so that's a whole measure of G, so that's 2 3-1-2-1s. Then we have another G, we go again twice. Then we have an A minor. Then we have an A minor asterisk, which is a half an A minor, right? So that's just 1. And then we go to a C for a half, an F for a half, a C for a half, and then a C for a whole. F for a half, C for a whole, F for a whole, a second F for a whole. Now C for a whole. C for a whole. Now A minor for a whole. Now a half a C. And then whole G. And then an A minor. Followed by a strum. Okay. My ukulele's out of tune, but let's keep pushing on. Okay, so I think the best thing to do is go through that music, pay attention to the brackets, and only play the ukulele at first. So let's put the whole thing together. We're not going to sing, we're just going to play. So starting from the intro, the floor is killing my legs. Okay, here we go. A minor. Whoops. Okay, so I would recommend you do that over and over until you feel comfortable with it, and then you can maybe hum along to it. I feel like I feel like I have to also go through the singing of the song. I know I don't usually do that, but the phrasing is so weird on some of it and not natural when we look at it. The other issue is that just because you've learned how to play the first verse doesn't mean you know how to play the other verses. So the measures change a little bit from verse to verse. Like verse 1 and verse 2 are exactly the same. And then after that, each verse has a little bit of like one of the C measures is longer, and it'll change. So you need to pay particular attention to that as well. If you're really familiar with a song, you know how to sing it, it might come very naturally. Otherwise, you really need to pay attention to, it doesn't really happen in the first 3 lines, but it does happen in the second half of the verse. So, okay, so let's go over the first verse. Just so that we're all together, or relatively together with our phasing. It's, hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again, because a vision softly creeping. So that's one kind of odd place where you have to go, softly creeping, and then the was in the next line is a little odd. Left its seeds while I was sleeping, and the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence. And the way I'm strumming it now might be a good way if you're just trying to get the timing of the chords before you do any picking or anything. So just, let's see. Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again. And I'm just playing one either per measure or half measure if there's a half measure, right? So again, 2, 3, 4. Because a vision softly creeping, it's a half, left its seeds while I was sleeping, and the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence. Okay, so I'm going to make this part 1, and I will come back with part 2 for the strumming part.